Alright, so for this battle we are bringing Onion Knight, who is Synergy, Warrior of Light, and Ultimecia. And it worked out. For reasons. I think Onion Knight and Ultimecia are a good combination because it gives her more uses of Hell's Judgment, which is always a good skill to be using. And, why am I not bringing Ceodore? You know, someone who's, I wouldn't call myself an After Years fan per se, but I did enjoy it. And I've played it through it a couple of times. I did hope for more for Ceodore. Let's just put it that way. Like, they gave him some interesting parameters to have to work around. Those two being having to keep your party's HP at full in order to get the most out of him, and only being able to deal holy damage. So he's locked out of fights where holy is absorbed, and he's locked out of fights where imperil is not doable, or at least where holy imperil is not doable. So like the Medusa heads, for example, he will struggle on because you can't drop their elemental resistance, and well, you're not going to benefit from Hope's D-Shell. So like, and then you can't just use, say, Onion Knight to give him ice damage, because everything Ceodore does is automatically holy damage. So, yeah, it's just... So they gave him all those parameters, but they didn't really make him, like, that much stronger for it. I mean, you could argue that his EX Vibra Plus hits hard, but so does Jax. And doesn't... And then Jax EX isn't cut... its potential isn't cut in half if one of your allies takes 10 in damage. And, I mean, I don't know. I have Ceodore. I'll try him out a few more times, but I can see myself not using him due to the fact that I believe the amount you get versus the amount of setup required for him isn't enough to justify it. And so, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's got a strong HP plus, but so does Palom. And Palom is Ice Element, which you could argue is less locked out than Holy Element. But, anyways, let's talk about the actual fight. Let's rant a little less. So the idea here is the orb goes up when you cleanse it, when you cleanse your debuffs, and the debuff's not that bad, in my opinion. So you'll notice I just sit there with the debuff on a lot. In fact, the only cleansing I have in this party are the two calls, Ceodore's call and Panelo's call. And I'm able to complete the stage with just that. And I think part of that is giving plus 20 to the orb when you cleanse your own debuffs is pretty generous. And not only that, but the orb is gone between 79% and like 50% or something, so you have that little window of breathing room. But yeah, just due to the fact that the buffs aren't that bad, I feel like it's not that imperative to cleanse them. As far as Ceodore as a call, I think he's decent. His LD call is kind of like an oh shoot button, where it just heals everybody, it removes all the debuffs. So if you're ever in that oh shoot, I just screwed up, or oh shoot, I didn't see something coming moment, Ceodore's LD call can definitely save you there. But beyond that, I mean, does it Peril enchant? I don't remember. Anyways, at least I pulled Onion Knight's BT finally on when I was pulling Ceodore's stuff. So that, and I have more gems than I know what to do with at the moment. I am pulling on like everything though, because I spent 3 months away from this game, and now that I've come back, a lot of my characters have been not as useful as before, with the exception of Warrior of Light apparently. But I came back just in time to get Ultimecia's stuff, even though I already had her LD from before. She's such a great character in this game. Like, I don't want to say she's overpowered, but she's extremely powerful for our fights with the tight turn count. Like, look at this. So here's her EX. Our EX just did 53,000 to each of them, but it didn't use a turn. Free skill, also not using a turn. So that's a total of 10,000, I'm sorry, 100,000 to each of them. And it hasn't even used a turn. Like, you could say, well, Ceodore's, Vibra plus hits a lot harder, but look at everybody's HP. No, it wouldn't have. And it wouldn't have done it at 0 turns. I mean, yeah, it batteries the party afterwards, but, it would have still used a turn. But I shouldn't compare Ceodore to Ultimecia. There's better characters to compare Ceodore to. Like, imagine if Leon needed to... it was hard enough to manage Leon when you needed to keep him above 80% HP in order to get the most of his EX. Imagine if that was 100%. Like, Leon would be just so frustrating, and I feel like Ceodore's like that. And yeah, you could say, just use Ceodore's LD before you ever use his EX. Which is fine, but like... Now you have to decide, am I going to use his LD properly, or am I just going to use a Vibra plus, not plus version? That, like, Vibra plus in the after years was easily the highest potency 2-person band, or the highest potency move outside of maybe 5-man bands in the game. Not a lot of people realize that because it didn't break the damage barrier by itself of 9,999, but if you get, there's an accessory that allows all of your moves to break 9,999. If you get that accessory, Vibra Plus will outdamage everything except for a couple of the 5-person bands, and Vibra Plus was only a 2-person band between Ceodore and Cecil. So, I don't know if everybody knows this or not, but the poison debuff does not take you below 1% HP, so it doesn't kill you. 1%. But below 1 HP, so it doesn't actually kill you. Which is why I'm fine letting Ultimecia take all those turns and get down to 1 in HP, and then I'll probably heal her later because I can't let B go. I'm sorry, A go, because A is about to do a Brave and HP move together. Although wait, yes I can, because Warrior of Light's gonna cause her to take 0 damage anyways, so never mind. I just can't do it. I just can't let her take damage before Ramza comes back. Ramza does so much damage as a friend unit, he's so great to bring. And then Ultimecia, I just enjoy Ultimecia's playstyle. So maybe that's what it is. I have no love at all for Final Fantasy VIII. I think I agree with the people who said that Ultimecia has more character development in this game than in Final Fantasy VIII. But, yeah, I know a lot of people don't like her playstyle. I don't mind it. And she can certainly go ham when you need her to. Because her EX charges in 3 skills, or 2 skills and 2 Brave or HP plus attacks. But you can easily throw 3 skills in there pretty easily, considering her free skill after she uses Apocalypse, her EX, counts as one of those 3 skills. So yeah, when there's no orb like this to deal with, Ultimecia can just go crazy and deal a ton of damage, and then maybe slow down a bit once the orb appears, depending on what the orb triggers and everything. That's a lot of damage, but Onion Knight is synergy. And he'd be doing a lot of damage anyways. He's a great character. Great to pair with other characters who have very powerful abilities and a low ability count. Or a low ability count. So Ultimecia's Hell's Judgment is a good example of that. You could argue Ceodore's Awakening, you can get more uses out of it with Onion Knight in the party, or as a call, or as a friend. Plenty of others. There's plenty of really powerful, great skills that are balanced by just a low number that Onion Knight helps to improve. You could argue, like, some of the old characters, so Keistis' Degenerator Whip, you only get 3 of those. But, like, it's kind of hard to use Keistis for current content, unless there's only 1 enemy, and it's not delay proof. Oh, the orbs are back! So... what I'm doing here is we're going to summon in order to keep the orb count low, and then I can finish using Ramza for his big damage. Get Warrior of Light back before we take the Brave and HP attacks. So that way we will take 0 HP because Warrior of Light is Warrior of Light. And then that will keep Ultimecia and Onion Knight alive at 1 HP, or whatever they end up being at the time. Probably 1. And then eventually we'll cleanse it with Ceodore's LD call, and that will bring everybody's HP back up. Hooray for that. I think I might still have Panelo's regen waltz as a call too, if that's needed. Let's see, I think one of the best uses for Ceodore I've seen so far, or I should say, not best, but certainly most fun uses, has been into a launch, has been into a 3-person launch, due to the fact that if you can Vibra plus into a 3-person launch, you're gonna deal a ton of damage because it hits very hard and then it batteries the rest of the party. So you're getting easily 500,000 damage on that character from that. So, you know, Ceodore's, it's not that he's bad, he's just, he has all these hurdles and then you get nothing for jumping them. Or I shouldn't say nothing. You get, in my opinion, not enough for jumping them. So they did him dirty. As they say. Anyways, I need to get back to the fight here. Nothing too out of the ordinary here, I'd say. Just getting as high damage as I can before that orb count gets low, and then we cleanse, and then it comes back up. I think it was around this point that I realized, whoa, like, they're really close to dying, and I'm only at 25 turns. And, I think a big part of that was just, was a combination of Ultimecia, being Ultimecia, and being able to go ham without using very many turns, and then Ramza as the friend unit with Onion Knight and the Burst. Like, I have Ultimecia's Burst, and Warrior of Lights, but I have Ultimecia and Warrior of Lights Burst, and I could have opted to use one of those, but I don't think it would have done me as much good as Onion Knight's Burst. Especially since we're combining them with Ramza's and everything. Like, it's just, it allows for such big damage, and I think that's why I was able to do so much with a low turn count like this. I think friend Ramza was very key to this fight. Luckily, they're not too hard to find. And Warrior of Light's back. Oh, does he still have the debuff? I think at this point, I'm like, what do I do? Warrior of Light's got that debuff. I've used all my cleanses. I'm not too worried about the orb expiring. Although, if I remember correct, it does come pretty close to expiring. Yeah, good thing I didn't need that recast. Oh, I had to pause it for a second. Guess I had to take care of something. Oh, I was checking the damage count. So yeah, they debuffed us again. And so now it's basically a race to try and keep my HP up before the end of the fight, so I can make the HP threshold. And I'm pretty sure I end up doing it with Panelo's call, with her regen waltz. Yep, there we go. Because the regen waltz will restore more than the debuff actually deals. More damage, or yeah, more HP than the damage we actually take from the debuff itself. But yeah, this one cuts pretty close for that reason. But hey, it works. And I suppose I could have given myself a little more of a challenge by not bringing a synergy character like Onion Knight, but unfortunately I don't have too many other DPS characters like him due to taking a 3-month break from this game. So I'm going to use the Onion Knight. Who else do I have at Love Lady? I have Jack. But Jack's fun, but I feel like he's just a little below par at times. You know, I have Arden. I could have brought Arden, I suppose. But whatever. Maybe I'll do some more runs later with them. I had a much easier time with this fight than I did with the previous two fights. So maybe I'll run a couple of fun teams, considering not too much is going to happen in the game itself for another couple of days. Wonder how quickly we'll get a TCC challenge. Oh, hell's judgments. How you do so much damage in the right circumstances. So that's one nice thing about Ultimecia, is you can just go ham with her successfully, which is something I used to do back when I had difficulty tempoing out these fights. Because it was like, I would either go above the turn count because I would use too many Brave and HP pluses and just take too long, or I'd run myself out of skills too quickly. But with Ultimecia, you can sit there and go, wait a minute, I'm getting close to the turn count, let me just go ham. I don't recommend that as a strategy, but it's an option. So here that orb's getting pretty close. I've realized that I don't have to worry about the HP threshold anymore, because the regen waltz call is taking care of that, although I'm about to run out of it. That is one issue with characters who take multiple turns, is you run out of their calls real fast. Or if they're enchanting the party in some way. Yeah, this fight's actually really close. Both orb-wise and HP threshold-wise. Yeah, I'm checking the HP threshold, we're good there. Spoiler alert, we win the fight. Now it's just a matter of, well, I guess not just now, but it has been just a matter of just do as much damage as you can before you run out of stuff. Now, I'm debating here if I should use Ceodore's Saint Blast, or if I should use the Blizzard Enchant All, because it does an orb tick. But I'd opt to do it, and then I think I'm going to pull Ultimecia in front of Warrior of Light, because she hits much harder than he does. And we have one turn left to do everything. Making sure I have nothing stronger to use before I use Protein Swords, or however you pronounce that. And we just barely do it. Just barely inch it out. And that's with a 0-3 Warrior of Light with an LD. I just barely made that HP threshold too. Although, part of the reason why I still have Warrior of Light at 0-3 is because, what do I need his ingots for? His ingots do almost nothing for him. So he's a great, if you would call that, budget unit. In that sense. Vincent is the same way. Ingots do almost nothing for him. In fact, the only reason, in my opinion, to give him ingots, even with his terrible sphere, is to get his EX boards. But if you're low on ingots, Vincent's a